When I was 9, I had a girlfriend whose grandpa lived with her, and I hated going to her house. I'd always try and get her to come to mine because when we went to her house, we'd have to go to her grandfather, who would sit in a chair, and we would be standing, and he would hug us and kiss, kiss, kiss all over our faces and our necks, and he had you in a lock, and you couldn't get out until he released you. And all the adults would say, "Oh, he just loves little kids." And then when I was 12, I had a strep throat, and my mom took me to the doctor, but my doctor wasn't available, so it was a new, younger doctor. And he did the usual, swab ears and everything. And, right about that time, I was starting to grow breasts, so I had these little nipples. And when he did this stuff, then he yanked up my shirt, pulled up my training bra, squeezed both of my nipples, and then just dropped my shirt and walked out of the room. I don't know, why do they call them training bras anyway? What are we training them for? Anyway, on the way home, I told my mother, and I could see her reaction was kind of like, but then she said, "Well, he's a doctor. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm not a doctor, but I can't think of a reason why a doctor would have to squeeze a little girl's nipples to see if she had strep throat." When I was 16, I got a job in a very small office, and the boss used to love telling me about how he would buy really cheap nightgowns or negligees for his wife so he could rip them off her and pretend that he was raping her. I was 16. When I was 20, I was raising a baby by myself, and I really needed child support from the father. So I saved up $200, which took forever, gave it to this lawyer who was going to then file for child support from this man. And this lawyer would always schedule my visits to him, because I worked downtown, right at lunchtime. And so I'd come and he'd go, "Let's go to lunch." And then at lunch, he'd tell me about how I should come on his boat with him so he could play with my tits. So my point is, this is just a very small smattering of the things that have happened in my life. Every woman you know has them. I could fill books, and I'm leaving out the flat out crossing the line assaults. And it's grooming us so that when the actual assaults happen, we've already learned this is just part of our lives. We just have to learn how to accept it and live with it. And maybe we're just being a little too sensitive. So I want to say to all the women out there who are still carrying so much shame because you didn't fight back, or you didn't say anything, or you did say something and it was ignored, don't blame yourself. We have been groomed to accept this since we were children. Time's up. It's not just Me Too, it's this too. It's all this other shit that we've had to deal with as being females out in this world. I'm done with it, and I hope you are too.